We're talking with the two candidates for District 2 Councilman in Willoughby Hills, the incumbent Ray Samich and his challenger Gil Martello. And a minute ago, Tricia mentioned the magic word airport. We got to keep our answers to a reasonable limit here, man. Gentlemen, we'll only get in one or two more questions, but we'll start with Ray on the airport issue.
Okay. I'm glad you didn't make this the very first topic, because as important as this is, there are a lot of other very important topics to our community, but nothing more important than the airport. And from the moment that we have learned about the potential problem, imminent expansion that has come up for us, we have been very aggressive, and that's the entire council and the entire administration has been very aggressive to do everything that we can to prevent the expansion into the city of Willoughby Hills. I personally have been committed to this, and so has everybody else. One of the points that I really want to make note of is the political abilities that we have to be able to discourage the expansion, to oppose the expansion. And that is something a lot of people don't understand fully. The relationships that the members of council have, and I'll include myself in that, my 20-year relationship with Congressman LaTourette, with Senator Vornovich, with all three of the county commissioners, with State Senator Tim Grindell and Lorraine Fendi, and right on down the line, that has been very, very important to fighting this type of a battle. We have to be able to have those relationships and have that line of communication with those powers to be. We took it all the way to Washington, and Congressman LaTourette arranged for a number of us at our own expense to meet with the FAA officials in Washington. And we did that and discussed this project with them. And there is no evidence anywhere, despite all the gloom and doom and despite all of the wishes and projections of people, that there is no evidence to believe that the FAA is going to put millions of dollars into that airport expansion and make that the next Hopkins West. Greater Cleveland is not developing it at this high a level economically. Hopkins is not overworked. Burke appears to be staying open, as of course to all the latest reports that we have and the latest meetings we've attended. So there will be continued growth there, but some of that growth could be good. Some of that could be increased safety. Some of that could actually bring some economic development to our community with the housing of airplanes. It doesn't mean one runway expansion. We are opposed to runway expansion, absolutely. But we do want the noise to reduce. We do want the other things with that airport to be taken care of, and we're very vigilant on that.
Okay, Gil, your thoughts on the airport issue?
The airport issue is driven by capacity, meaning the people who manage Hopkins are planning an expansion. They want to expand not expand physically, but they want to lengthen their runway. They want to bring international carrier service. It is my belief, after reading and researching, that Burke Lakefront will become your regional jet service center. From here to Detroit, here to Chicago, that type of flight. And Cuyahoga County will then become your corporate jet service. What the residents are in fear of, and myself, is that the runway goes to 6,000 feet. You open up the envelope for larger airplanes, and you are encouraging more traffic. That is unsettled. The people that make that determination, I believe what's going to go on, is the Cuyahoga County Commissioners will draft their proposals and then present them to the FAA. And from there, and what has the residents really upset and concerned is that the discussion started in 2003. And from what I have gathered, there were supposed to be 3 meetings between 2003 and now that involves the public. And the public hasn't been involved in these discussions. And there's an element of distrust, like what's going on. We're kept in the dark. And a lot of people have asked me questions, and I said, I don't have those answers, but I want to get those answers. I want to give you firm answers of what's going on. That's where we're at. One other point is that it's not just the lengthening of the runway. With the additional traffic, it's going to impact the standard of living in our area, and we don't want that to occur.
Ray mentioned a few minutes ago the importance of relationships and getting projects accomplished and work done. How would you characterize the current relationship between the administration and council, and if you were part of council, how would you either keep it status quo, would you work to improve it?
By all means, work to improve it. I think it's somewhat adversarial right now. There's been a whole lot of issues with the council. It's somewhat continuous during the meeting. I believe that can be eliminated. There's no place for it. You stick to the issues and move forward on them. How approving it? Keep the people's interests in mind. It's not Gil Martello's agenda. It is the agenda of his constituents that I have to keep in mind.
Right?
I agree with you. If people have their own agenda and they bring that, it's very, very difficult to work in that environment. We have a council that is just so extremely committed to working for the betterment of the community. And there's a claim that we're not transparent, and yet we have our council members that are sending out newsletters like I do, holding town hall meetings like I do, and letting people know what's happening. So we are representing the people because we truly want to serve them and work with them. So the council is united in that front. We have an administration that is not. We have an administration currently that is very much has their own agenda independent of anybody else, and that is causing a conflict. Anyone who knows me and my involvement with the United Way and Rotary and my church knows that I, believe it or not, I'm a peacemaker. I haven't been a peacemaker in Willoughby Hills because it's a situation where despite our efforts to do that, we haven't been able to attain peace. We need to get there, but the best way to get there at this point is to have some changes so that the council and the administration are on the same page.
Start with you this time, Ray. What would you say are the 3 greatest issues or challenges facing Willoughby Hills in the next, say, 4 years?
Well, the airport has to be on that list. We have to continue to monitor that and be vigilant about it. We have to make sure that there is no expansion into Willoughby Hills. That's absolutely foremost in importance. The second one would be the working together of the business community and the residential community on that tax basis, like I talked about earlier. It's just so important that we don't go back to the people for taxes. We have to give the opportunities for the commercial businesses to generate the type of revenue to pay for the ongoing expenses in the community. And the third, I think, in our West End, is to make sure, and nothing against our neighboring cities, but we are at the West End are surrounded by Richmond Heights, Wycliffe, Highland Heights, not too far from Euclid. We have all those other areas there, and some of them have had some difficulties economically. There's a lot of closing in some of those areas, and we have to be very, very strong in all aspects, including the safety. We have to make sure that people can shop there safely, can have their families out safely. One of the big reasons why I'm so excited about the Bishop Road construction is we're going to have about 35 new lights there, and we're going to have wide sidewalks there for walking, and it's going to be an open invitation now for people to walk again and be there with your families and ride your bikes. And I think that's important in our end because for whatever reason there were some feelings that maybe it wasn't as safe as it could be or should be. And you know, we can't live that way. Willoughby Hills is where the city meets the country. We have to have a feeling we can walk outside and be in our yards and walk down the street and be safe.
Gil, what would you say are the 3 greatest challenges facing the city?
City finances, sewers, the airport, transparency in government.
Okay. 4, that's all right. That's
sorry, I got carried away.
No problem.